What's up, guys? Good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. Tradition, heritage, lore, folklore, some would say old wives' tale. Roma, after an eternal fight, have gotten the CREST back. It's a very happy day because, especially if you are an ultras. Now, ultras don't watch this YouTube channel, and I don't even want them to watch this YouTube channel, but this is a fight that, if you know, the hardcore Roma fans wanted and have been fighting since a very, very, very long while. Tradition is very big at this football club. I repeat it in every live stream because it's a concept which people need to understand. This football club is built on tradition, on lore, on folklore, on culture, on Romanism. And for some people, you might go, they just put the old crest back. It's nothing special. It's nothing that significant. Well, the hardcore fans would say that it is, because it means that they have won this war. It means that they have won this struggle of protesting against a logo, a crest that did not represent their heritage. And, I think it's a very smart move from an ownership which has made so many mistakes over the past season. Sorry, let me just turn the light on. Over the past season, almost I would say insulting what the Romanism means to these fans. Appointing De Rossi to shield yourself and then sacking him like that was a big blow to the fans, not just on a technical point of view, but on a Romanism point of view. I always say how when you speak about this football club, when you speak about what the fans want for this football club, you have to always consider and leave a space in your heads of what the culture of this football club means, okay? And the crest thing has got a very long story, and I'm going to get into this because I'm aware that some people are not aware about what I just said in the last 2 minutes, but it's very significant. It's a very happy day, and I think, as I was saying before, it's a very smart move from a board which, again, has made mistakes, that has been attacked. But again, I am not a fool. I am not all of a sudden now going Fredkins till I die, because the way they sacked De Rossi and the way they committed mistakes in the past is not easy to let go of very easily. But this is definitely a step forward. This is definitely a step towards what the club means and understanding what the real side to this is, okay? So yeah, they also re-established, what I would say recognized the date of birth being the 22nd of July, 1927. That is another element which we must consider. I think today is a historic day, guys. I think it is, because I think all of a sudden, maybe this board has woken up to what this club means and allowing the fans to have a say, allowing the fans to be, participants in what and where we want to bring this football club. Now, I'm not sure if Ranieri has got a big say in this. I definitely think that an image like Ranieri has exacerbated these processes. But it's a significant day. It's a significant move. They wrote an entire statement this morning, and I was surprised because they never do this. They never speak. Now, again, they haven't spoken, but they don't speak. If they want to communicate, they write official statements, which some people would disagree is not good. Yes, I think it's not the great, but it's their philosophy. It's the way they want to operate. And unfortunately, we've understood this. But they wrote a very long statement saying that the badge will be changed, that the crest is going back to the old crest, that from now moving forward, the club recognizes the 22nd of July instead of the 7th of June as the official birth date of the club, something which, again, had dilemmas between the ultras and the club itself. They thanked Ranieri, they welcomed Gasperini in the statement and said that the Gasperini pick is a pick to, aim for success, as always. They always write this. So I want to speak about this. And I want to speak about Guys, I want to speak about Ranieri, not because there's something new to say, but because I really think that after Italy's game yesterday evening against Norway, and after Italy's game on Monday against Moldova, I think Spalletti will walk. I think Spalletti will resign. And I think the national team will give Claudio Ranieri a call, because I think the only solution to this rotten national team is to bring Claudio on that bench. As a Roma fan, do I agree? Do I want this to happen? We'll get into that, because I think it is a possibility that the national team goes, Claudio, I know that you don't want to manage anymore. You've made it very clear. But this national team is crumbling. It's dismantling. We need you to come in and help us. And I think that Ranieri would very much hesitate not to accept the job of his own national team. But that's something that we'll get into this video as well. Let me know your thoughts. Old logo, new logo in the comments. Everyone let me know. I'm very curious to know. Like, literally a quick message. If you've got questions, pop them in the live chat. We're going to get through them a lot of time today. Hit the like button. Everybody take 2 seconds. Hit that like. 100 likes would be great. And yeah, let me speak about this CREST thing, because I'm aware that for many fans it means nothing. So basically, this is a war. I would say, I call it a war because it is a war under all effects. This is a war that the Ultras have won. And the reason why they're so happy today is because after years of protests, they've won the war. After years of manifesting their dissent towards the new logo, which is now the old logo, the current logo that we had until yesterday, they're very happy. Now, the context to this is Pallotta, American owner once again, came in years ago and decided to change the logo. But the change of logo was very much rejected by the ultras, by the hardcore fans, because you're touching a historic logo, because you're touching a logo which has written history, a logo which is, I think, aesthetically cool. I mean, the ASR kind of, and then the wolf, but in a historic way, and then the way the crest is designed, I absolutely love it. The colors are in good colors as well. So yeah, they're happy about this. They're happy that they made their voices heard, because they protested against this, banners in stadiums for years and years and years and years and years, asking for the logo to get changed back. And then we have it today, and they're very happy. Now, I still need to understand whether this is a complete change, whether we're gonna put this logo on the kit, we're going to put this logo everywhere. Because the only question that I have here is, I saw leaked images of the new kit and the old logo wasn't there. So unless they're going to change everything once again, then my question here is this actually going to be a full change? Like, this is our logo moving forward? Or is this just going to be a rebranding for the website or for the social media, but on the kit itself, the old logo will stay? I don't know. But the fact that the board and the owners recognize this is a very, very important step. Okay? And I think the significant thing here is, Bella Vito, the significant thing here is that you're being considered. I think the significant thing here is, of course, it's the change of crest, because I like the old crest, now the new crest. But it's because you're being heard. You know, you've got a board which, I don't even want to repeat the mistakes that they made, because you know them yourselves. But you have a board which maybe all of a sudden is listening to the fans. And in a club like Roma, listening to the fans is very important. Because not only because for every football club, the heart of the football club is the fans, but I always say that the tradition and the culture that you find in Rome is very, 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 very complicated to find in other clubs. And I think part of this is, of course, due to the fact that we're in Rome. You know, if you're not attached to legacy in a city like Rome, you'll never be, okay? So I think there's something about the city mixed with the passion of football that makes legacy, culture, tradition, folklore, whatever you want to call it, massively important, okay? And it is very important. It's very, very important because if you touch the legacy, if you touch the tradition, if you touch the culture, you're touching the ultras. Because the ultras and the hardcore of Roma, but I assume also for other clubs in Italy, but especially for our football club, if you touch the tradition, you're touching the ultras, because the ultras are old school. They base on tradition and everything, okay? So that's what we have to say about the CREST and the date. The date of birth is also significant. Now, the other thing which I want to speak about, and I want to mention, because I know that a lot of people will want to ask me this question, and the question is probably like, what is happening to your national team? Especially for all of you guys who are not Italian, you're probably laughing at this current Italian national team, and you need to laugh. You need to laugh. You need to feel sad, because you have no idea how depressing it is to be Italy, one of the best football national teams ever to exist, and be represented by such a rotten system, by such an idiot of a manager, and by such players which genuinely don't give a shit. Now, I care about the national team, but not more than a certain extent. I've always seen international football as like a sense of unity, a sense of passion, right? All together, summer, watching the World Cup, beers, pizzas, Italy wins, go on the streets, bring flags and everything. Okay, so if Italy loses, like if Italy doesn't qualify to the World Cup, I don't cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. Because I wouldn't feel disappointed, I would feel embarrassed. Okay? If Italy loses a World Cup final, I would be disappointed, but after probably 48 hours, it would go away. If Roma loses a Champions League final, I'd be edging suicide. That's the difference. The difference I see here is this, okay? So, I'll be honest with you. Of course I care, it's my national team, I wanted to win and everything. But I've always seen the national team as good, but if they lose, or if they don't qualify for the World Cup, I'd feel very embarrassed and disappointed in 24 hours, after 24 hours. But then, to be honest with you, like, I'd go and walk in the park very, very happily and freely. So, before I speak about this next topic, I would like to announce this. Of course I care. I feel embarrassed. I feel embarrassed because this national team is a mess, is an absolute mess. And people will say it's the manager, and the manager is an idiot. I will call Spalletti an idiot because Spalletti is an idiot. Spalletti needs to resign or get sacked because he is not capable of managing a national team. He's just not. He's an absolute idiot, and I'll get into why he's an idiot. He's a great manager outside of national football. Put him in a club, perfect manager. International football, he's absolutely clueless. He's about as clueless as a fucking T-Rex. It's the manager's an idiot, the players are shit, but the problem is deep. The problem is a very deep problem. It's not just the manager and the players. It's the system. But I'm going to get into that in a second because I've got a lot of time today. So I was like, let's speak about this. Where do I want to get this? This is a Roma channel. I don't speak about Italian national team, but Roma's an Italian club. A lot of Italian players play at Roma. I'm Italian myself. And the news that Di Marzio said hours ago is something that we need to consider as Roma fans. Why? Because he basically said that after Monday's game against Moldova, there's a high chance that Spalletti resigns and that a potential strong candidate is Claudio Ranieri. Now, I'm not saying this just because I'm a Roma fan. The only solution to this football club is Claudio Ranieri. The only solution. Because he would fix the base. Okay? But I will be honest with you, I don't want Ranieri to go. Because I care about my football club more than my football national team. And I have understood what Ranieri does to Roma and what it means to have Ranieri's presence inside Roma. So having called Gasperini because Ranieri wanted him, having fixed a very big responsibility and job around Ranieri, kind of name him the president of Trigoria, I would say, him leaving would dismantle a few things which we don't want, because Ranieri is fundamentally important for next season. So I don't want Ranieri to go, but I'll be honest with you, the only solution is Claudio Ranieri. The only solution to this dead Italian team is Claudio Ranieri. The only. You can put whoever you want, nobody will fix it. Only Claudio can fix it. Yeah, I don't want Claudio to go because we need Claudio. Now again, you're probably going, he can do both jobs. Yes, he can. And he probably will. But doing both jobs means that you've got less attention on one job, on the Roma job, because you're the coach of the national team. And it means going around Italy, watching games, studying players, calling players, working at Coverciano, when there's international breaks, not being present. And I think, especially in Gasperini's first year, that cannot happen. Because I think that the Gasperini-Ranieri binomial is very important. So we can't have Claudio leaving all of a sudden after having pretty much decided the future of our club. Now, you're probably wondering what the problem is and everything. The problem is so deep. The problem is so, we could genuinely be here speaking for hours about the problem around the Italian national team. I could write a book. I could genuinely write a book. I've got time today, so I'll speak about it. But it's a problem which kind of even mixes in with the politics of a country which is dead, completely dead. Now, not turning 100% into politics, because that's not what we want. The problem, I'll say two things, and then I'll let you reflect on the two things that I say, and you will probably get to the base problem yourself, without even me explaining it. The first problem is, take a look at the Italian institution of football. Take a look at the Lega Calcio, Lega Serie A, FIGC. Take a look at the Italian institution of football. See who works inside the Italian institution of football. And you'll notice one very quick thing. That the youngest person who works inside the Lega Calcio, the FIGC, the Lega Serie A, is probably around 84 years old. And that's the youngest. Now you tell me how in general the country, but moving into the football of the country, how can it possibly work if we have old, incompetent dickheads who have got no willingness to innovate, develop and evolve? That's the number one problem. Italy is a country of old bitches. Old bitches, old styles, bureaucracy, fuck it all. You need to be innovative. You need to evolve. Football around the world evolves. That's the number one problem. The number one problem is the fact that the youngest person to work in the Calcio institution is probably 85 years old. And that itself is alarming. Number one. Number two, look at the Italian team. the current Italian team, and you look at it and you go, is it normal for the Italian national team to have a main striker who doesn't speak one word in Italian? Do you think that's normal? I will ask everyone here. Do you think that's normal? Do you think it's normal for the Italian national team to have their main striker who doesn't even speak one word in Italian? Is that normal? I don't think that's normal. You know why? Because in Italy, you don't develop youth players. So you don't have Italian players who can knock into the first team of the Italian national team. And you're forced to go to Argentina, call Matteo Retegui, turn him Italian. He's not Italian. He's not Italian one bit. They turned him Italian, gave him an Italian citizenship, whatever you want. Don't tell me Retegui's Italian. Because Retegui can't speak one word in Italian. And and you're telling me it's normal that our main striker doesn't speak one word in Italian? That's the problem. The development of the youth, the culture of growing Fiorentina's striker under 21 rather than spending 60 million to get a striker from Argentina for Fiorentina is the problem. If I am Roma, if I am Juventus, if I am Milan, if I am Napoli, if I am Inter, I am delved into this system which unfortunately favors me spending 60 million to buy a striker rather than growing the striker of a youth setup, because youth setups are weak, because nobody gives a shit about them. That's the second problem. You know, that is the second problem. The second problem is exactly that. And I said this, and third is, you know, the third problem of this current Italian side is Spalletti. The problems are deep, yes, absolutely. The problems are terrible. The problems are institutional problems. You know, they're problems which can't be solved from today to today. It's not a technical problem. It's a cultural problem. And the other problem of this current team is Spalletti. That man is absolutely clueless. He is absolutely clueless. He does not know what to do. And I knew this since the very beginning. Managers which are good with clubs are not necessarily good with national teams. It's different. It's different. You need to create, you need to create groups. Spalletti's too sensational. Spalletti's too philosophical. Spalletti's too you're in a terrible state. Your country, in terms of football, is in a terrible state. And in the press conference before the game against Norway, you start dissing Mancini and Acerbi. That happens at clubs. That can't happen and doesn't happen in national teams. You know, dissing players, saying that player doesn't want to come, that player doesn't want, dissing players publicly happens at football clubs, not in national teams. Spalletti is too sensational. Now, I'm a Roma fan, of course I'll defend him, of course I will back him. But somebody please explain to me the criteria behind leaving Mancini at home and calling up Rugani and Coppola just because Mancini has a bad attitude. Spalletti is clueless. He's absolutely clueless. He's got no ideas on how to play. His system can't be copied with the players that we have. The players are shit. That's the other problem. There are only 3 good players in the national team. That's goalkeeper Donnarumma, Tonali and Barella. The others mid, average, if not shit. This is the problem. So you need somebody who comes in, and Spalletti needs to go. Spalletti needs to go. Of course we'll win on Monday because it's Moldova. But, then everyone will go, oh well, we won again, fair play. It's Moldova. The second you hire the bar, you get absolutely fucked. You get embarrassed. You get absolutely humiliated by anyone else. But the technical problem is the technical problem can be valid when you face France, can be valid when you face Spain, okay? The players are bad, yes. Spain has got better players, they destroy us. When you play against Norway, the technical aspect can't be a justification. When you play against Switzerland in the Euros, the technical problem can't be a justification. That is where you look at the manager and go, he's clueless. He's absolutely clueless. Spalletti had to walk after the Switzerland game 1 year ago. They decided to keep him. He played one good game in the Nations League. Everyone hyped him up. And all of a sudden, we're probably going to play the playoffs of the World Cup again, if we're lucky. And that doesn't even... If we miss out on a third World Cup, then everyone just needs to go. And they need to restart again. Because it's embarrassing. The problem is a system problem. Spalletti is clueless, he needs to go. The players are shit, yes. But these are all the things that you can say when you face Spain or France or Portugal, not when you face Norway, Switzerland and Belgium. Okay? Because they don't have better teams than you. The fact that Haaland plays for Norway, the fact that Haaland and Odegaard play for Norway doesn't mean that Norway is better than you. Because Norway have a defence that they don't even know how to spell themselves, and you managed to have 0 shots on target yesterday. Tell me if that's normal. So, yes, the rant is this. Do I care like it's Roma? No, absolutely not. I feel disappointed because it's my country. But I wasn't even watching the game yesterday. I was watching Yannick Sinner. That is real honour. That is real Italian pride right now. But look, I know that a lot of you guys probably don't watch tennis, don't like it. I'm a big fan. You wonder why tennis in Italy is very popular and going very well right now? Both on a male and female point of view. You've got Sinner, yes, you've got Musetti who reaches semi-finals after semi-finals these days. You've got female Paolini who wins tournaments. Because they decided to evolve it, to make it evolve. To innovate it. Okay? If you don't do the same with football, it's never going to change. You need to change from the core. From the schools of tennis. They changed system, approach, teaching method with kids. That's it. That's the other core problem here is that you need to completely rehaul football schools for little kids. That is where the problem lays. The construction of those kids is the starting point. There's something wrong. There is something wrong because it is worrying, as I said before, that the main striker of the Italian national team ain't even Italian. Then there's something that you're doing wrong. It means that you're not promoting the players. And we're a national team. Let me be patriotic and then carry out my Italianity here. We've been a very good national team in the past, or am I wrong? So there's clearly something that you're doing wrong now, that other teams and other national teams are doing well in the system, in the institutional approach itself. But that's it. Going back to linking this back with Roma, and why I'm speaking about this today is, if Spalletti walks, Di Marzio said that Ranieri is a candidate. Ranieri would be a solution because, number one, he would fit a national team. The way he prepares psychologically, but because he's an old school manager, he doesn't focus on the tactic. And the truth is that international football, you don't even need to focus on the tactic. International football is all about discovering, promoting, and uniting the players itself. So Spalletti needs to go. As far as I'm aware, that man needs to go because he's clueless. And they might call Ranieri. And of course, I mean, Ranieri, yes, currently has a job at Roma, but I'm not sure if somebody with Ranieri's status and class can say no to the national team. You know, saying no to your own national team is something that even if you don't want to manage anymore, you tend to not do because it's your national team. So I'm afraid that if Ranieri gets the call, Ranieri will accept. But I don't want Ranieri to go because we need him. We need him, and he is gold at Trigoria. I'm not willing to give Ranieri up. The Fredkins want to honour our history. They should write a public apology to De Rossi. Just saying, says Matthew. We're going to lose a lot of merch revenue with that thing on our shirt. I don't think so at all, mate. It's probably going to boost even more. It would have been really nice to see them take responsibility for how we got to Ranieri. Yeah, I was expecting that too, and I was like, it ain't going to happen. They're never going to come back to their own mistakes. Chiesa wants to leave Liverpool, so maybe Gasp would want him since he's a hard worker, says Yasin. I'm from Albania. What do you think the score will be for Albania versus Serbia? Oh, respect, mate. Don't know, don't care. Don't take that as an offense, really. But I could not care less. If you want a prediction, I probably think... I mean, Serbia probably has the best team, right, out of the two. But yeah, I definitely won't be following that. The new date is also my birthday. Shout out Roma and I, says Dom. 3 World Cups in a row would be an absolute joke, says Vincent. The Lupetto badge on the kit from a couple years ago was fire. Spalletti is arrogant. What would you think about De Rossi coaching the national team? No. It would burn him out, like, absolutely fully. You need somebody... To manage the national team, you need somebody who knows how to do it, who's done it before, or somebody who's a very experienced old school type manager, who knows how to do it, who has lived the Italian national team in its golden years. That's what you need. What would you think about... if Israel qualifies World Cup but Italy not, I will scream 999, says Error. De Rossi is way too young and experienced. When I think of the last winning World Cup team and the players we have now, it just makes me sad. You know what's sad? I was thinking about this yesterday evening. It's actually insane. The only World Cup that I remember Italy play... I was born in 2006, but I was 1 year old, so I don't count it. The only World Cup, apart from 2006, where I was won, in almost 20 years of my life, in 3 months, I've only seen Italy play 1 World Cup. And that was Brazil 2014, where I believe we crashed out on the group stage. That's actually scary. I've only seen in 20 years of my life 1 World Cup of my own national team. That is fucking scary. Oh my days, that gives me nightmares. It's scary. It shows to you how bad we've been. Simo, you said it yourself a couple of lives back talking about Gasperini. You think Spalletti is nice, but he's a dickhead. Spalletti is good for club football, absolutely, but not for international. It's very different things. La mamma della Lazio è sempre incinta. Don't assume we will beat Moldova. Nah, we will beat Moldova. We'll beat Moldova because if we don't beat Moldova, we won't even qualify for the playoffs. We'll beat Moldova. I mean, we are. Because, no disrespect again, but Moldova is Moldova. So, we will. The problem is that even if we do, Spalletti needs to walk or get sacked. Because otherwise, he ain't bringing us anywhere. I always thought you were Australian. Which transfer do you think will happen for next season? Early to speak about transfers now. I'll do a keep sell bench video in a few days. Retegui is nowhere good enough. He played good with Gasperini. Oh, I agree. Fully agree. Retegui is overrated. Retegui is the classic player that only scored, 22 goals? Because he was under Gasperini and Gasperini drugged him. Retegui is bang average. He is a bang average striker. Bang average. And the fact that we went from Del Piero, Totti, Baggio to Retegui, who not only is mid, but isn't even Italian, that says a lot, doesn't it? Ranieri gains respect. That's exactly why he's perfect. Hands off, Claudio. What do we think of the newly promoted teams, says Kevin. Well, newly promoted teams, two of them are yo-yo teams. Sassuolo is a yo-yo team. We know them. They're a pain in the ass sometimes, but they can be good. Cremonese is our nightmare, but they're back. And the surprise is Pisa, which is a classic, of course. But yeah, it'll be a nice away game. I will definitely try and organize Pisa away. And yeah, wave the flag in front of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But Pisa will be interesting. The old CREST is amazing. That's it. I said what I had to say. Old CREST, don't touch Claudio. You don't deserve him, I would say. That's how we can end this stream. Don't you dare. You don't deserve Claudio. I'll catch you tomorrow. Hit the like. 100 likes would be great. Literally, hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds down below. It would be great. And thank you for tuning in. Enjoy your Saturday. And I'll catch you tomorrow. See you out.